Have you ever seen such a dirty tranny? Oh. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video on In Dad's Garage, where we are tirelessly wrestling to restore this 35-year-old Defender 110. In the last video, we installed all of the new suspension components and connected these newly refurbished axles to the Shielder chassis. And in this video, we're going to do a few more jobs that we didn't get a chance to do in the last video, just to finish it off and get it all ready for the engine to go in. But this video is going to be a little bit different today, guys. This is like an uncut raw video. If I had a second channel, it would be a second channel video for sure. There's going to be no fancy editing, no fancy montages. We're just going to crack on and get a few jobs done that we didn't get a chance to do, so we can really progress with this build and I can get this video out a little bit quicker for you guys. So down here, I've got a few more boxes of goodies with new shiny parts to put on this Defender. We've got that Gwen Lewis breather kit that we had in the last video that we didn't get a chance to put on. I've got in here some really nice, shiny Pioneer brake lines. That's right, guys, I've gone for a full braided set of Pioneer brake lines. This is going to make the job a lot more easier, so we're not messing around kind of making our own copper brake lines, although that would be a good handy skill to have. But I think for a build like this, having something shiny and cool like that just really sets it apart and makes it that next level of restoration. So we've got this Pioneer kit to put on, and we've also got in here a new wiring loom for the chassis. So the old wiring loom was absolutely knackered. It was crusty, it was hard, it was brittle, and I did not trust taking that old wiring loom out of that chassis and putting it in this brand new one, because you can guarantee if anything's going to fail on a 35-year-old truck, it's the wiring. So we've got a brand new Auto Sparks wiring loom that we're going to feed through the centre of this chassis today. Hopefully it shouldn't be too bad a job, because we do have, very handily from Shielder, the rope that goes through the centre of the chassis all the way along. So I'm hoping it's just going to be a case of tying the rope to one end and wrapping it with some electrical tape and then just feeding it all the way through. But we will see. We also have some other wiring in this box, quite a lot of wiring in fact, but that is for another video. So we'll just put that down there for now. We've also got a few other parts down here. We've got the fuel tank that will hopefully fit today once that wiring's in. And we've got a few other parts here. These are the power steering box fluid lines that we need to fit to our box here, the new box, and run them around there. So they'll be all nice. We'll get them in today. And if we have enough time in this video, I'd quite like to pop outside and see if I can wrestle that dirty tranny and pull it off. So as always, lots to be getting on with, but the first thing I'm going to do is rectify a little issue that some of you guys in the comment box said I'd done wrong, or potentially done wrong. So I've installed both the Old Man Emu springs on both sides, but apparently, now I didn't realise this, but apparently these springs are preloaded or weight loaded for different sides of the vehicle. So the driver's side, this one here, has a slightly higher stiffness, it's slightly longer than the passenger side. So usually in the box you get like an A and B marker on the springs that indicate what side goes where. So A goes on the driver's side. My springs didn't have any of that, they were just completely plain, completely black. So I just threw those on and just thought that'll be fine. But apparently they are different sizes, so I'm gonna have to take these off, put them side by side, see which is the slightly taller one, and then make sure that one's on the left side, or the driver's side, and then the other one is on the passenger side. So let's do that now. Let's get these off and let's see if there is actually a difference, or you little minkies are having me on. So that is both springs off, and bugger me, you were right. This one that was on the passenger side is ever so slightly taller than the one I put on the front side of the driver's side. So they need swapping over. There is just an ever so slight difference. You can see that one is like a couple of mil higher, not massive, but it just goes to show they are left and right, or A and B. They had no markings on them whatsoever. So they didn't have any stickers on them. There's no markings on the top and there's no markings on the bottom. So the only way I would have ever known that is if I put them side by side, or if I had one of you guys, an expert, telling me what I need to do. But fortunately, you can all do that retrospectively and keep this amateur right. So let's get these back on the truck again. Right, that is the front rectified. Let's go and check the back now. Right guys, place your bets now. Are these springs any different? Have I put them in the right way around? The right way around already? You let me know in the comment box down below. Is there any difference, or have I already done it right in the first time? Because we're about to find out. One little minky, two little minkies. Well, these ones look exactly the same to me, guys. There's pretty much no difference there. So what we've clarified then is if you put some old man EU springs on the front, there's definitely an A and B side. The slightly longer one goes on the driver's side. If you put some old man EU springs on the rear, the heavier uprated ones, these are uprated for 300 kilograms to accommodate my future roof tent box. They're both the same, so you can stick those bad boys either side. Right, let's get these little minkies back in the truck and then we'll move on with the next job. Gets me every time, that. Oh. The springs are in. So I think the next job is to install this rear chassis wiring loom. This is a brand new one from Autosparks. It's going to replace the crusty, horrible one outside. I'll let you have a look at that in a second. But for now, let's get this bad boy unpacked, laid out on the floor, and we'll have a proper look at it because it does look pretty nice. Oh, yeah. So here is the new wiring loom in all its beauty. Full length for the 110 chassis. It's got more modern plugs here. So these are Simoto plugs, I think they're called. I'll leave the name down there. I think they're called Simoto, something like that, but they're the slightly more modern plugs. So this wiring loom is actually for a mid-year or mid-model 300 TDI where they upgraded these plugs to these more modern ones. So that means our lights on the back will be dead easy to install. They just clip in with these plugs rather than these kind of older style things that a lot of them have. This has got a few different accessories on, so like tow bar lights, tow bar extension and all that kind of stuff. We've got down here, this is the more modern fuel sender. So that will plug nicely down here into our new modern plug that we installed there in our fuel tank when we refurbished that. I'm not quite sure what this one's for. I don't know if that's a fuel pump plug. There was an old one of them on the one outside. We'll have a look at in a second. So if you know what that's for, let me know. But I definitely know that plugs into our new fuel sender here. So that is nice. But this is looking much better than the monstrosity that's outside. This is the old one down here and it looks pretty sorry for itself. This is all really like brittle and crusty. I feel like you do that, the wires are going to snap. It's also got just a rat's nest of plugs that have been cut and spliced. I did label them all when I first got the truck just to try and make my life easier, but as you can see, I've decided now this restoration has gone kind of beyond my expectations to a full nut and bolt jobby. I've decided to just get a brand new one. That's that plug. In fact, that looks different to the one inside, so I have no idea. No, that's similar. So whatever that's off, let me know. That's hanging on there. But yeah, all of this just looks horrible. So it's just as well we're replacing it for all those brand new fittings. I think that'll do the build justice. But the rest of it is looking sorry for itself. We're hopefully going to get that engine out very soon and get rid of this monstrosity off the drive because I don't think the neighbours are particularly happy. But these things take time if you're going to do them right. And look at the state of that. Have you ever seen such a dirty tranny? Oh, filth. Yeah, we're going to try and get this off later in the video, so stay tuned guys. And if you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button down below because we've got a few more jobs to do on this project. Anyway, back to the garage. So this Autospark wiring loom is going to do the job nicely. So let's get cracking on and get this installed. I think looking at it, the best way is to feed this end, which goes to the front of the vehicle with a few clips there, from the back and all the way through with that rope. Now, I have seen a few people do this on YouTube and it has taken them absolutely hours, especially when they don't have the rope and they've got to man feed this through like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a little stopwatch on my phone and we'll time exactly how long it takes. So 3, 2, 1, let's go. So I think my plan of attack is to basically get this rope that Shield the chassis have kindly supplied and then connect it to the end of this wire and just wrap a load of electrical tape around it and try and keep these as kind of in line as possible so there's nothing to snag on, and then we'll just feed it through. Right, I'm pretty happy with that. Everything's well taped up there, so nothing should snag and it kind of goes to a point. So hopefully that'll feed through there and all the way down there without any snags. Oh yeah! Oh, I can hear it. It's about there already. Nice. I can hear you. Where are you? Oh yeah, that is the way. You better believe it. Come on. Oh, get in. There we go, one wiring loom through. It did get snagged a little bit. It must have just been catching on something there, but I pulled it back and then just give it a good yank and she's through already. Let's stop the timer. 13 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, look at that. So 13 minutes or 12 minutes and 59 seconds and 59 seconds, 0.59. So in 13 minutes, including the time it took me to tape up the end and move the camera around and do a bit of filming, 13 minutes to get that wiring loom through. I've seen people take half a day or a full day messing around without that rope. So again, if you haven't already guys, and you want new chassis, check out Shielder Chassis. Even just little bits like that, having the rope, game changer. So here we go. One end of the loom is through. That's the rope. We've just taken off all of the electrical tape that are wrapped around here, and that went through really nicely. So let's take the rope off officially, because we don't need that anymore. There we go. The new wiring loom with the new plugs from Autospark at that end. And then if we come down the back end, we've got a grommet here that we can stick in the chassis there and get that all sealed up. It's a little bit too small. We can always get a bigger one, or if not, put some like silicone mastic stuff around it just to seal it in place. But yeah, that is looking pretty good. And down here, we've got all of our brand new clips here, so we can get those lights fitted on the rear really easily, and then additional wiring for tow bar lights and accessories and stuff like that. So really happy. All that is going to make this look nice. So I think putting a brand new wiring loom in the chassis was definitely the right thing to do. As I mentioned, I got that from Autospark, so I'll leave a link in the description box down below for Autospark. My main man Craig was absolutely amazing from there. He basically spent loads of time emailing me. We had a few phone calls back and forward to work out what was the best wiring combination for this build, because it is a bit of a custom build. So we've got a 200 TDI currently in that chassis outside. It will be going in here temporarily, but at some point next year in the future, you guys still need to let me know. I'm going to upgrade this to a more modern, powerful engine, because currently I've got an RS6 with 700 horsepower. I don't think a 200 TDI is going to cut it for me in this what will be a beast. So I'm going to need a little bit of pork, as she said. But anyway, yeah, so Autosparks down below, check those out. Craig was amazing and helped me work out the best combination to future-proof the build. So there'll be more to come in a future video, because I do have all of that wiring down there, so we will go through that. But for now, we're going to change tack a little bit and have a look at this Pioneer brake line kit, because we've got all of these sexy braided brake lines that we're going to install. So I think there's about 9 packets here. So let's get these all laid out, work out where they go, and then we'll chuck them on this chassis. So here we go guys, we've got all of these Pioneer braided brake line kit packs laid out. There's 10 of them in total, and each one has a specific place it goes. And then we've also got some special chassis fixings, some tie wraps, and an air freshener, very nice, and then a little sticker that we will put on the build somewhere in the future. So I've just gone through all of these packs and the instructions over here and had a look at where everything goes. And it does label every single item, so you can tell what's what. So 2 front caliper hardline replacements, 3 flexi replacement kits, etc. And it's numbered 1 to 10. What it doesn't have though is exactly which part is on here on the diagram. So I've just gone round and worked out every part and labelled it on the diagram. So a little bit of feedback, Pioneer 4x4. What would be really cool is if you could just put the numbers for each of these parts listed here on the diagram. That would make life a lot easier for idiots like me. Anyway, let's crack on and get these on the truck. So I've just taken the front steering arm and steering dampener off so I can turn these wheels like that to get better access so you guys can see. And I think we're going to start off with these front caliper hard lines. So let's get down here and see if we can put these in. So here are the hard lines from our first pack. Look at them, very nice. Pioneer 4x4, a nice hard brake line there. So you get 2 of these and then a couple of banjo bolts. So they will go through there and then they'll screw into the caliper here and then bend round to this bracket here. Now one of you legends did say I've got these brackets on the wrong way around for the brake lines, but looking at these, I think if that goes in there with a banjo bolt, then that can feed round and mount in there like that. And then your hard line, or your next braided line, which is these shiny red ones here, they'll go from here down and then can plug into there like that. So then it kind of swings around here away from the spring. That's my current thinking anyway. You were right about the springs having an A and B, so you could be right about this as well. But for now, we'll stick this on and we'll see what it looks like. I don't know, guys, that looks fairly logical rather than stretching it back to there. Let's stick the other ones on and see what it looks like. Right guys, there we go. What do you think of those? I don't think that looks too bad. So banjo bolt in the caliper, that then feeds round, hooks back onto there. You've then got this nice braided red one that goes down and connects to there, and then that one off up to the next thing. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Let's lock those down, stick the other ones on, and in the meantime, you guys let me know in the comment box if you think that looks good, or if that bracket's the wrong way around and I should do it a different way. I think that looks nice. Oh, right, that's the other side on. And again, not looking too shabby, if I do say so myself. Oh yes. And I've just gone ahead and adjusted our steering arm lock bolt things. So basically these bash against the axles there when the wheels are on full lock, so the steering can't go any further over. So the reason I've done that is just to make sure that these brake lines aren't interfering with the springs, so there's plenty of room there, and also it stops the wheels from bashing on those radius arms. So that's another one of those little but important jobs ticked off the list. Right, next one. So just looking at the instructions, there are a few more here that we can put in, but because we don't have the brake master cylinder connected yet, because the gubbins isn't there for the engine bay, we can probably only fit a couple of more lines to the front. So I think we're going to do number 6, which is this little one here, which goes from the top of here over to what would be the master cylinder. And then we can also fit number 7, which is down here. This is the long one that connects both sides of the front calipers together. So let's get these ones on next. Next, and here we go. The front brake lines are on and looking very nice. So here we've got the front caliper hard line connected to the braided hose with the sexy red stuff that obviously matches all the other red stuff. It goes up to here to a little T-piece junction. This bit then comes out and clips lovely with those clips that are provided with the kit, and runs around the chassis, around the steering box, around the front, clipped in there, around here, clipped in there, all the way down here, and then onto here, and then connects that braided line, and then the other hard line for the caliper down there. Very nice. And then over here, we've then got the up piece, or this hose here, so that will go up to the master cylinder. I think it's the master cylinder there. The one we've got on now is very crusty, so we will get a new one, but that will be mounted to the bulkhead. So we've got a few packets left. This is now what connects from the master cylinder all the way to the rear, and then to the Salisbury axle, and then across either side to these rear drums. So I think we'll crack on now and see if we can get the rest of these installed. So I'll check back in a minute. And here we go, guys, the rear lines are installed. So this is where it starts. That again connects to that master cylinder along with this one here. And then we've got 2 cables there, or pipes there, which will connect from that master cylinder up to the slave cylinder up here. So we can't install them yet, but this main line is in and we've got it running down here. So the kit comes with all of these clips. They just fit the chassis beautifully. Really makes it a neat job. So that goes down here, around, under here, and then connects just there onto the chassis. So as you can see, that line feeds up there, connects to that braided line there, which then goes down to the Salisbury diff. And then if I crawl under the vehicle, we've got the line here onto the drum brake that side, in the drum brake at that side. I will upgrade these drums at some point to discs when we get a more powerful engine up the front, but for now, they'll do. So that line goes from the drum here, it goes along it's kept in place with these nice clips here. So they clip in and there's a thick tie wrap that goes around and just tie wraps that to the axle, and you get 5 of those. So I've just put 2 on for now. The line then comes up and up to here, and then basically all 3 of these lines from the braided line there to each of the drum lines connect to another one of those T-pieces. My kit was missing that second piece, but I did drop Pioneer an email and they got back to me straight away and apologised, and they sent me one out first class, so it should be in the post in the morning so we can get that one fitted. But that's not a problem for us guys, because this won't be on the road anytime soon. So when we get that T-piece, we'll connect those together and we'll clip that on, and if we feel we need to use any more of these brackets for maybe this side or this side, we can do. But that is looking pretty nice. I am really pleased with that. Ugh. So it might be a little bit of a cheat fitting this Pioneer brake kit instead of making all of those brake lines myself. But I have to say, it was a dream to fit. And it all looks much better than those copper lines or steel lines that would have fitted. So I'm really, really pleased with that, guys. It looks good. I will leave a link in the description box down below if you're interested in some Pioneer brake lines or clutch lines or whatever else. They're all made to order, in-house, UK manufacturer. And again, they've been fantastic with me, helped me to work out what kit I needed, how everything goes together, and also rectifying that missing T-piece, which should come in the post tomorrow. So I was going to install this Gwen Lewis breather kit next, but after looking at the kit, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it, because we have a number of these breather pipes here that are all a single length and are going to need cutting specifically to size. And we also have all of these connectors here. Now the problem I've got is I only have one axle there and one axle there, but the breather pipes need to connect from the rear axle, and need to run down here, then connect to the transfer box and the gearbox, then this axle, and then here it needs to go to the crankcase at the front of the engine. And then all of those pipes need to run up the bulkhead and then to a little T-blocky thing like that, and then finally up the snorkel. But at the moment we haven't got any of those in situ, so I don't think I can run this breather pipe yet, because I don't want to cut the lines the wrong size and screw things up and have to buy some more lines. So I think we'll leave that for when we've got the gearbox, transmission and engine in. And instead we'll move on and get these power steering lines fitted. So as well as a new steering box, we also got some new steering lines and power steering hoses. So this is the high pressure one and then the return one. So these are going to mount nicely to the front of the chassis like that and like that. And then both of them will connect up to the new steering pump. And then we've also got over here a new filler pipe and a new reservoir. So we'll take all of these back over here and we'll get all of this fitted to the front now. So this should be relatively straightforward to fit. That pipe goes into that hole there, and then this pipe goes into that hole there, and at the top we put the reservoir. And then this pipe just basically goes across the front. That end connects to the reservoir with the other pipe, and then that will go into the power steering pump on the front of the engine. And then to mount them, Shielder Chassis have kindly provided 2 factory holes, one there and one there. And I've gone and pinched the hardware off the old chassis. Here it is here. I did have to give it a little TLC refurb because it was pretty crusty when I took it off. But with a bit of a grind and a sand and a lick of paint, they're looking nice. So what we're going to need to do is get out the riv nut gun and then get a couple of these little riv nuts there and just riv nut them in each of these little holes like that. And then we've got some threaded inserts to basically screw and bolt those brackets to there and then get those power steering lines on. So I've only used this riv nut gun like twice, and every time I use it I can never remember what I'm supposed to do. I think it's something like that. Has that worked? Oh yeah, that'll do nicely. Right, so that's the main 2 pipes in. I just need to now put in this power steering filler reservoir pipe thingamabobby, and that is job done. Couple of Jubilee clips. So that's a little bit on the wonk. So I think we're gonna have to trim that pipe down a little bit and see if we can straighten that up. Much better. Doing. And there we go, guys. With every piece we put on, it's starting to look more and more like a proper vehicle. So the power steering lines are on, so they'll connect up to the power steering pump on the engine. But we've got them running along there nicely with the new refurbished brackets. And I've just moved that brake line as well from that clip there and just done one either side, there and there. So that all looks quite smart and tidy now. And then that runs into our new steering box and up into the new reservoir. Very nice. Oh yes, the postie has been, and Pioneer have delivered on their promise and sent me the replacement T-piece that they forgot to put in the kit. So let's get this bad boy on there. So this little T-piece here is going to go down and connect these 3 brake lines from the rear axle, and this little hole there will just screw and connect to this part of the Salisbury axle, that little brake bracket there. But I think what I'm going to do is just take a drill bit and just drill that hole out a tiny bit so we can put in one of these M8 screws, and that'll just finish it off nicely. Perfect. Right, let's get this on the vehicle. And here we go, guys. That T-piece is all nicely installed there, screwed to the bracket on the axle, and we've got the lines that run really nicely into there. And I've just wrapped them again, just nicely around the axle with those clips. And in my opinion, that all looks pretty neat, pretty tidy, and pretty goddamn sexy, if I do say so myself. Well, as sexy as brake lines can be, if you're into that kind of thing. And finally, just back at the front, I've added in one of these new 4-way valves. This is to bypass and delete that PWCA, that thing on the screen there. Just for now, we might still reinstall it if we can refurb it, but they are like nearly £200, and I don't know if it's worth putting a £200 part in that can fail and a lot of people delete anyway. So hopefully this will do the job. Simple braking system, and then these 2 lines here will go up to the main master cylinder, that one and that one, which will be located somewhere up here, and then this thing here will connect to the bulkhead around there, on there, just like on the old one. So that is the braking system done. We've got all the lines connected, Pioneer brake lines and clutch lines. Go and check them out. That is a nice little upgrade, if I do say so myself. Right, next job. Let's see if we can get this fuel tank and that new bracket plate thing in there. So this is the original fuel tank that we refurbished a few videos back, and it looks pretty nice with that Raptor coating on. But I've just had a look at the fixings over here, and all these here came with this new fuel tank brace thing that goes underneath. Basically, it's the tray that the fuel tank sits on, and I've worked out that you get 2 of these. So these little bolt brackets here go underneath the chassis, so there's a hole just there that feeds through. So that is what these end bits fit into. And then these bigger holes here bolt up to the bottom of the chassis here, and then these grommet things basically sandwich either side of those holes there, so they've got a bit of cushion for the pushing, as they say. So let's have a go and see if we can wrestle this heavy fuel tank into place on my Todd. And now is a great time, if you're not already, to subscribe and support the channel. So it's absolutely free to do, and it massively helps me to carry on growing this channel. All you have to do is click that little red button in the corner, subscribe, and if you change your mind later on down the line and I start doing your head in, you can always unsubscribe. So if you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button and give your man a little bit of support. And if you're one of the legends that's already subscribed and has been following all the channels and videos, then we've now got an In Dad's Garage merch shop. That's right. So you can go and get your very own In Dad's Garage hoodies and t-shirts with the IDG logo, and that will hugely support the channel even further, more than you're already doing just by subscribing and liking and watching the videos. That will help me fund and continue this build and other builds that are coming in the future. So if you haven't already, check out the merch shop, and also hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and welcome, by the way, you legends. Right, let's get this fuel tank in place. Come on, don't be a dick. Make it out, this isn't it? I can just tap. That's going to be a to do. Probably not, is it? Who the f designed this? Oh my God, that was hard work on my own. If that's not worth a subscribe, guys, I don't know what is. Jesus Christ. Oh. Right guys, well I was going to go outside and pull off that tranny, but that took a lot longer than I expected, and it started to absolutely chuck it down outside in true British weather style. Now it's one thing pulling off a tranny, but I draw the line at pulling off a tranny in the rain. So I think we're going to leave this video here. In the next video I plan to go outside and hopefully get the engine out along with that tranny. So make sure you stay tuned and subscribe for that, because I do have now a brand new pleasure crane. Oh yeah! Woo! And that should make the job a whole lot easier. So as always guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. How do I get down from here? I didn't think this through.